Guys, as you know, I recently did a real estate video shoot where I was like, showcasing the property, and I got to use the new Ronin S. Had to get it, like, this is something that I've been wanting for a while. The old Ronin is like super cumbersome, and you have to hold it way up above your head. For this video, I wanted to go through and show you one of the problems that I found with it and how I figured out how to rig it up using a couple of pieces to make it work really, really well. In case you haven't seen the Ronin in the box. This thing is amazing, dude. It's so beautiful. It's like, any of you gearheads out there know, like when you open a box like that and you see a piece of gear like this, it's pretty exciting. All right, so I'm gonna show you how, first of all, to assemble all the pieces, and then I'm gonna show you how I've figured out how to rig it up in a really cool way. One accessory that you can pick up is this Fmj Gimble Adapter. It just literally goes in between the base tripod and the battery grip. So you just kind of put it together like so. So on top of using this Fmj Gimble Adapter, which honestly is just another little spot for you to be able to mount things. There's 1/4-20 screws all over this. So I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna use to mount to it, but you can put anything on it, like a cold shoe adapter to mount like a shotgun mic or a wireless pack, anything really, a field recorder, whatever you want. Anything 1/4-20, you can screw right into that, and it's nice. Picked up also this small rig, it's like a collar mount, it goes right around here. Real solid, it's got nice rubber pads in here so that it doesn't damage the collar. I'm gonna get that mounted real quick and show you what I'm gonna mount to it. Whoops. So we're getting there. Part of the pain about using a gimbal, which in my opinion is worth it, is the setup. Once you get it set up and going, all of that is, you just kind of forget about it just because of how cool it is and how cinematic your shots look. We got the collar mounted. Next thing we're gonna do is mount the camera so that we can get it all balanced and start mounting all the other stuff. Balancing the gimbal is like super critical. It all starts with kind of the roll axis. Is this the roll axis? No, this is the tilt axis. Like if you point the camera straight up, it stays there. Ours is definitely not there yet. It's too top heavy. So let's just get that part set up, let it fall like this, and we know we're too far forward. Then you're gonna take this guy, and if we're too far forward, we gotta slide it back a bit to where it doesn't tilt forward. Oh, now it's too back heavy. Still too back heavy. It's all about fine-tune adjustments. You want to do small little adjustments. Now that we have our tilt axis is pretty close, we want to just double check it by leaning this guy up again. Bottom heavy, super bottom heavy. Closer. That's pretty good. Basic rule of thumb is wherever you put your camera, if it stays, then it's pretty well in balance. Now we'll move to the roll axis. So if we just let go, it's gonna bottom out this way. We gotta bring that arm a little farther out. If it's dipping this way, you want the arm to go that way. You can tell how just a tiny little movement makes a big difference. That's pretty good. For the pan axis, you just tilt your gimbal forward a little bit, move it from side to side. If it stays, then that's a pretty good balance. Stays, stays, oh yeah. So, using the app, you go to configuration, settings, more, and then we're gonna do a balance test. While the balance test is running, it's gonna go through like some motions and just kind of figure out like, are these motors working too hard to keep it balanced, and then it'll give you a result. The balance test says our tilt, roll, and pan are all excellent. Now, you don't have to use an external monitor because DJI did such a good job keeping this arm out of the way of the LCD screen, so no matter how you use it, you can see your display really well. The reason I like using these external monitors, this one specifically, the Atomos Ninja Blade, big shout out to Atomos. They've made something really great here because we can take a SSD, slide it in the back, and then I can record directly to this monitor. And this thing has, you know, it's touchscreen, it has vector scopes, it has focus peaking, which is built into the GH4 and the GH5. But I just really like using external monitors. Plus I can put way more footage on this than I can my, SD card. So I'm gonna show you how I mount this monitor. So I'm using this ICANN articulating arm. This one's pretty good because it has like these ratcheting teeth in there, so it doesn't really slip. But yeah, you just screw it into this small rig collar here. This has a NATO mount, so I could use a NATO mount with an articulating arm. It would be a lot stronger. Sometimes these ones with the balls in there and it's just got this like friction joint. If your monitor's too heavy or you do some weird movement, your monitor, unless you tighten it super tight, will like kind of get loose on you and turn one way or the other. But this one does pretty well. I guess I should say on the end of this monitor mount is a GyroView quick release monitor mount plate. These things are so cool because I can just pop my monitor on there, flip it over, it's locked in place. There's no like awkward screwing on your monitor. I know you've been there before. So yeah, you just slide your monitor on and it's there, it's locked, it's not coming off at all. So when you position this thing, you gotta make sure you got enough room for your battery pack. It's not gonna get in the way, which we're good there. So this was the one thing that I found recently using this on that realty shoot, was that I had a coiled HDMI cable. These are great, but once I hooked this HDMI cable up to the camera, and this has a bit of friction to it, you know? So when I was running through the property and I'm trying to get my shots right, something weird just happened while I was in flashlight mode, this unwanted roll, because this cable was pulling or giving some friction to that roll adjustment. And I could see it in the video footage and I wasn't really happy, but we were able to take it out with some warp stabilizer. If you can get it perfect in camera, it's way better than spending so much extra time in post. The reason I got this collar was so that I could bring the mount up higher. As long as we're clear, that's nice. This one's a bit longer than I'd like. Screw this little guy into the side of this small rig, run my cable through it, and then we will just plug that into the camera. The less tension and more slack that you can give to this cable will relieve a lot of that strain on this cable pulling the camera down. So the one last thing that I wanted to put on this, I figured out like pretty quickly that with the old Ronin, you get this fatigue happening if you're filming for longer than 5 minutes. Thankfully, this one has like the feet, you know, the feet support. I don't know, you can just set this thing down when you get tired on a tabletop or on the ground or whatever. But what if you're like on the beach filming and you can't put your camera down? So I showed you guys in a recent video this Black Rapid camera strap. It's just, you know, it's like a sling. You're gonna use it for photography. But I was like, wow, that'd be really nice to take some of the strain off of holding this Ronin for so long. We're gonna take this little kind of, I don't know, this is the mounting point. I'm gonna screw it right into this handle. So I'm gonna screw it right in here. This thing's steel, you know, it's super duper solid. And then I'll just take and clip this guy in. It's got a kind of a release feature so it can't fall out. Let's say I need to set the camera down, right? All I gotta do is take it down like this. We can just let that hang, give our arms a break. Whew! And it's kind of nice to like, it takes all the weight off. All I gotta do is lean it here. Dude, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So I've got the monitor in my face, like I can see perfectly what I'm trying to film. You can keep it so smooth. Your core already is pretty stable. So the fact that you're just using your arms to guide the gimbal and all the weight is like right here on your shoulder, it feels so nice, it's so good. It's very nice, very smooth and very nice. Let's see if I can do a real cool like We're gonna slowly pull away from the door as John walks into the scene, and we're gonna follow him and just see how smooth it is. I want you to look and see if this HDMI cable is pulling that down. Maybe we can put an example clip of what we were seeing where the gimbal was being pulled down. I'm gonna do a nice pull out of John coming through the door, and we'll see if we can see any of that like roll abnormality. Okay, so be honest, what do you think? Was it good, stable, smooth, or no? I think regardless, some of that boils down to like operator, and there's so many different ways that you can use the Ronin S to get a really smooth shot. If your deadband is set wrong, if your smooth track is set wrong, sometimes the sensitivity, it all boils down to like putting in exactly the right settings to make sure that this thing is working the best for you. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much how I've decided to rig up my Ronin S. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Don't forget, in the description there are links to all these little mounts and things that I've found. Hit that like button, subscribe if you aren't already with notifications on, and I'll see you right back here next time.